See if anybody wants to join up here. I'll talk to some of my HVAC buddies, ask them their opinion on something. I'll give you a minute to see if anyone joins up or if it actually works. Because I have my doubts these days. And I'll check my phone while I'm waiting. We're going to talk about refrigerant leak detection, the detectors you guys use, and while this is a subject that we were actually making fun of not too long ago, my H10 is in disrepair. I need to get it repaired. I got a Tek Mate leak detector, and it's okay, but it seems like it's not very sensitive. It picks up the R22 okay, but when I get it around 410A, it seems like it doesn't do much of nothing. That's why I want to ask you guys what you used out there in the field, if you're happy with it or not happy with it. I don't really have enough money to go buying a brand new H10 or no matter which H10 it is. So I wanted to sort of get you guys' opinions on the subject. I'm sitting here researching on Amazon what they have for sale, and I know you can get it from the supply house, but a lot of my Amazon prices are just as good as the supply house, oddly enough. And I'm looking up here and I type in, let's see, I'll type in, oh, there's Brent. Hey Brent, what leak detector do you use? Brent, you seem like a smart guy. What leak detector do you use? I'm looking for a new one, something, it doesn't have to be anything I've used before. I used the H10, but like I said, I searched for H10G, and for some reason on Amazon, the H10G is like some sort of magical leak detector because they have it listed under the Baccarat name and under the Johnson Controls name for over $800. I had to cut the H10. Can I buy yours, Brent? Now the H10G is the one they say is the best. That's the one I had, and I need to fix mine, but I also need one coming up here in a couple days. And it'd be nice if I had a backup. That'd be great. But I have this little Tek Mate thing, which seems like it's okay, but it doesn't seem all that good. I've said a few times I've had to do things to find leaks I normally wouldn't have to do if I had the H10. So it'd be nice to have one. But Brent's saying that he's heard that the Philippines SLR8 is pretty good too. That's one of the ones I was actually watching Jim Bergman do a comparison video between the SLR8 and it's like the SLP2 maybe. Different kinds of leak detectors. One of them's infrared, one of them's heated diode. And I just wanted to find something that was good on 410A. And it looks like both of those did do pretty well. I had CPS leak detectors when I first started doing this, and they were not the greatest thing in the world. And they made these horrible noises. Some of my earliest videos you can probably hear some of my CPS leak detectors. Well, after watching the video with the Philippines ones, Jim Bergman had this, he has very official stuff. His videos, when he reviews something, it's always very official. It's not like one of us doing it when we have a refrigerator bottle, we crack it, and we try to do the leak detector on it. He had the testing device that they use, I guess, to do standardized leak detector testing, and the field piece units did pretty well. He seemed to think they were pretty good. So that's a huge plus column because the guy's very intelligent, so you figure whatever he would endorse or speak highly of would be a good thing. Like I said, I have the Tek Mate now, but my opinion of that is not as good after comparing it to the H10G, which is what I used for the last 4 years or so. There was no comparison there. I have an H10G, I need to repair it, but I also am in a position where I have to go do some leak detection relatively soon, so I need to get something else, even if I use it as a backup only. So I wanted to get opinions, whether it's in the live chat here where we have Brent or we have comments after the video was over. I'd like to know what you guys use, what you guys trust. There's a lot of guys out here that have done it longer than I have, and it doesn't even require any bit of experience. You've used a few leak detectors. You can say, which one do you like the best? Which style do you like the best? There's kinds I've never used before. I've never used an ultrasonic leak detector. My leak detector's always been the same style. I had heated diode leak detectors before. It's like we had a best tech, like one of the off brands that just probably copied a major manufacturer. The H10 I've used for the last few years. CPS, I've had a few different CPS leak detectors. They all seem to be, not as good as the H10. So it all comes down to, am I going to have to end up saving up and buying the H10 because I really need to get a leak detector sooner rather than later, but I don't want to rush into anything. I was looking at the Infocon leak detectors, the higher end ones. We have the Detector Select. If any of you have that, I'd like to hear about it. And mainly I'm concerned about the 410A because that's what we're going to run into more and more often, and that's where the difficulty is for a lot of these leak detectors. Hello, Daniel Zamora. Daniel, what leak detector do you use? Because that's the question of the hour. I'm sort of trying to figure out what I'm going to do next as far as purchasing a leak detector. And I want to go with the wealth of experience that we have at our fingertips here in the HVAC community to figure out what is good and what is not. And I found that if you go to online reviews, you will see that you'll have one leak detector and you'll have 10 people talk about it, and 5 people will hate it and 5 people will love it, which is no help at all. Because you don't know which people are which, you don't know which guys are, I don't know. No, I agree with that, Brent. The H10, everybody's got the H10. Damn it. Okay, fine. The H10's awful expensive, and it's not sold for any reasonable price. Because I have an Amazon account that I used to purchase stuff, but I didn't want to pony up $500 cash because I'm starting my wife's business is starting probably next week, and we're going to invest quite a bit into that. I'm bringing in a office for her to work into that we're going to put in our yard with my shop. So Brent's saying he had a Detector Select. It was good, but just not on the level of an H10. And it's probably going to end up me trying to find another H10G. I'm not going to go with the battery one. I've just heard so many people say the battery one doesn't stack up to the G. And I don't know, there's a Pro and a PM. I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but I think they both use batteries. So I think what I've learned so far just from having the two guys on here, Daniel and Brent, is that I'm going to have to end up buying an H10 because in the bottom of my heart, I know it's going to be the best, better than all these other leak detectors, and that sucks, but I'm going to have to probably figure out a way to do that. I'm not going to buy the one on Amazon because they're selling it for $800 for some reason. I'm hoping I can find it under a different heading. Brent's saying, why do I need to do leak searches? Just sell them a new one. Well, you're talking to the guy that never sells new ones. I'm the repair guy. So I want to have something that I can definitely trust. And I know you're joking, but I got to have something. 410A is my concern. So, and we have a Daniel saying micron gauges. Micron gauges. That's the same sort of thing, guys. You have 10 guys say one's good, sells tech talent. 10 guys say that one's good, and then the guys say it's bad. And I've used a few micron gauges over the last few years. I have a field piece one now, and I used the Best Tech one, which is a rebadged JB one, and I haven't had any problems out of either one of those. I guess the only thing, and Brent's talking about the blue vac, and I want to say, doesn't the blue vac have a male end on it? Because I like the idea of maybe these not leak detectors, but these micron gauges having a male end, so you don't have to worry about those O-rings in them and stuff like that. I like the idea of having less maintenance with the micron gauge. So a lot of people like the blue vac. I've never had a blue vac before. I know they have the regular one. They have a light version, I think, and then they have this smaller version now for $99. I think a lot of people are buying because it's affordable, and blue vac has a good name. There's no reason to think otherwise. A lot of guys use it. The JB's been no problem for me. The field piece I've had to take apart and work on because the gaskets inside were bad, and that's why I kind of like the idea of having one with a male end on it instead of a female end, so you don't have to worry about that happening, because sometimes you just hook it up, you won't even think about it, and you have that little bit of leakage because that gasket is ripped or in bad condition. But alright guys, I just wanted to pose that question about the leak detectors. If anyone watches this wants to chime in, that'd be great. I hope everybody's having a good Memorial Day weekend. We were out in the yard yesterday clearing branches. I got a new pole saw. I have that shed coming in, and I need 13 feet of clearance so I can come in. And of course, I have a very wooded lot, so I had to cut quite a few branches out of the trees, and I got a lot of that done. I had to demolish an old pump house, and there's still some more work to do. The electrical was live in this old pump house, even though it's been out of commission for a long time. So I'm gonna turn that into a yard receptacle where I can, when I'm entertaining people in my little gathering area, I can have some electrical access for, fans or lights or whatever I want to do. And Brent has just said that it does have a male connection on the blue vac stuff, which I like that idea. If one of mine, I guess, craps out, I'll probably end up with one of those blue vac ones just to keep it simple and have that male connection. I just like that idea of having that. And then you have to worry about the hose, but I'd rather worry about the hose than the actual gauge itself. But, so if any of you guys have any more words on leak detectors, or like the guys are talking about now, the micron gauges, I know a lot of the guys love the blue vac. So just feel free to chime in and comment on that for Daniel's benefit as well. Daniel's mentioned it's been raining a lot in Texas. It's been raining a lot here today. We have a tropical storm off the coast, so I don't know how much action we're going to get from that. I think it's more of a South Carolina thing. But it's not raining right now. It's kind of warm and humid. Tomorrow we'll be finishing up our clearing and getting ready for the building to be delivered on Tuesday. I'm sure I'll do another stream before then. So we're all, it's just one of those times where I'm really pushing forward. We're trying to get my wife set up with a business she can run from home, take a little bit of stress off of my business. I can sort of, redirect my business in the direction I want to go, which is doing service calls. And we have Jeff here, says his has 2 male connections and no female. He says, imagine that. But we'll talk again. I want you guys to have a good day. Hopefully no one's working today. I know some of us will end up, I had to work yesterday, and if no one calls me today, I'll consider that my luck, and maybe even tomorrow I'll get out of it scot-free, but we'll see. But you guys have a good one. We'll talk again with another subject. Maybe we'll revisit this after I get some comments about it. If you're watching the video, go ahead and comment what your favorite leak detector was, what your favorite micron gauge was, so we can gather some information between the guys that have been in the field for a while, so we can all make better decisions on what to get next. All right, guys.